Good afternoon, wee foxes. Welcome back to Art This Week. As you guys know, it is Black History Month, and we have been talking about some famous Black artists. Last week, we talked about Faith Ringgold and her story quilts. This week, we will be talking about an artist named Augusta Savage, and she lived in the 1920s and 30s and worked and made art during that time. And we'll also be talking about someone named David Hammond, and he is an artist that is around today. Both of these artists, Augusta Savage and David Hammond, are called sculptors. So what type of art do we think sculptors make? Yes, so sculptors are artists that make sculptures. And what is a sculpture? It's a big word, a sculpture. A sculpture is a 3D work of art. So 3D means three-dimensional. And that means you can look at it from all different sides, okay? So a drawing would not be a sculpture because it's completely flat and you can only see it from the front page when you're looking at it. So you could make sculptures out of things like clay or Play-Doh. When you're playing with Play-Doh and you make something and then you put it to the side to look at, that would be a sculpture because you can see it from all different sides. A lot of your toys, those would be sculptures because you can see them from all different sides of it. So they can be made from lots of different materials. Like I said, they can be made from clay. It could be made from something called paper mache, which is paper and glue that is wet down and then created to make something new. And it could also be made from metal, bronze, aluminum, gold. You can have sculptures made from all different types of metal. And you can also have sculptures made from recycled materials. So you can have sculptures made from old bottles or bottle caps. You could have it made from tires. If you collected lots of different tires from old cars and then you stacked them up to make something crazy looking. So you can make sculptures out of pretty much anything, right? As long as it's three-dimensional, which means you can look at it from all different sides, okay? So Augusta Savage, the artist, she was a woman in the 1920s who was a sculptor. She mainly made sculptures of people, different types of people. And she worked in wax, so kind of like a candle that she carved and made into different shapes, and metal. So we will look at some of her work in just a second. So she works more realistically. So she made people's faces, and those are called busts, B-U-S-T. So she made busts of people. And then the artist David Hammond, who is an artist today, he mainly does things that he finds, different recycled materials. So he'll find a tarp or some cool rocks, and he'll put those together to create a sculpture. All right, so it's very different, but still both sculptures, okay? So I'm going to switch over to my computer really quick so I can show you guys some of their work, and then once we take a look at that, we are going to get started on our own sculpture, which we are going to be using some recycled materials for. So I brought some different materials. I had the toilet paper roll, an old yogurt cup. This had fruit in it, I think. Little container. A pasta box. So, while we look at some of the things on the computer of the Black artists' works, Augusta Savage and David Hammond, if you want to see if you have any of your recycled materials around that you can use for your project today, you can go ahead and grab those too. All right. All right, guys, so here is an image of Augusta Savage, the sculpture that I mentioned. So she lived and worked in the 1920s and 30s, And she was also an art teacher and community art program director. So she worked and helped teach art to all sorts of people, and she lived in New York. So here are a couple images of some of her artwork. We have a bust here of a person's head. And let's see. Over here we see Augusta Savage again, and two little sculptures that she made here. It looks like they're dancing. And here, so that was a very small sculpture, right? Down here, we can see a much larger sculpture. This one is called Realization, and it was made in 1938. So these are lifelike sculptures here. And it looks like she made this maybe out of clay or wax. And down here is another famous sculpture of hers called the Harp from 1939. And it has a bunch of different people, children who are singing, and it is in the shape of a harp here, which is a musical instrument. All right, so it's very cool to see how she has realistic looking artwork that looks a lot like people. So David Hammons, this is David Hammons here. He is a working artist today, and he is from Los Angeles in California, okay? So his work is pretty different from Augusta Savage's. So like I said, he collects different items and then creates them into sculptures. So you can see here, he has a bunch of different bottles that he found, and he glued them together in a circle. In the circle he also collected different pieces of coal and put them at the bottom of her circle here. And he called this piece of work the Night Train. Let's see. So we also have some images of his artwork here when they were shown in a museum. So right here he has a cart that he found, and then on top of it different pieces of the road like asphalt and rocks mixed in with some tarp that he found. So it's really interesting that he found all these different materials and put them together to create a sculpture. So here's another picture of that. And over here he has a coat that he painted to create a piece of artwork, and he also has a mirror that he put pieces of metal on. So artwork that is made like this, it's called assemblage because he's assembling different pieces together. It's assembling different things together. Over here you can see a little basketball goal that he put with some candles. And let's see, this looks like a piece of cloth with different types of glass and wood. Here's that basketball goal again that he added jewels and candles to. Here's another one of his bottle project that he made with his found bottles. And these are just different projects he made with beads and different materials that he found, bottle caps. Another one of his really cool projects is called Higher Goals that he made in 1987. And in this project, this was called a public work of art. So it's out in a community somewhere in California. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's in New York. So these basketball goals that he found, he decorated them with bottle caps, okay? So these are wooden poles, and he nailed different bottle caps into them to create these designs. So you can see here he has triangular designs and diamond designs over here, and he decorated all the basketball goals. He also made them very different heights, talking about how you have to aim high in life and you'll get farther if you reach for the stars, or in this case, reaching for the really high basketball goals. So he used found materials, his bottle caps, to create these works of art as basketball goals. Pretty cool. I like this project. There he is nailing in some of his bottle caps to the pieces of wood and cool designs. All right. So
when we use different materials, it's called reusing and recycling, okay? So once we switch back over to our project, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what recycling means, okay? It's good to recycle, and here's a little picture. Be a green kid. We love to recycle. So it shows us some of the different things we can recycle. Paper, glass, metal, plastic. Okay, so I will tell you a little bit more about what recycling is and what it means.
All right, guys, so hopefully you were able to find some different materials to use for our project today. I have a couple of my paper towel rolls, a yogurt cup. I also have some bottle caps from old sodas and some newspaper that we might use, some cardboard from some pasta that I ate last night. So you don't have to have all of these materials. It's just whatever you can find, and you'll create your own project, and this will just be kind of an example showing you how to do it, okay? I also have a plastic fruit bowl here. For my other materials that we will need, I have a pair of scissors. I also have some tape and a glue bottle, liquid glue. So if you don't have glue, that's okay, we can use tape. And if you don't have tape, that's all right too. We could just kind of set up our projects, and then you'll end up taking them apart at the end, since they won't be stuck together. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about what it means to recycle. So what do we think it means to recycle? Have we ever heard this word before? So recycling is reusing materials to save them from going into the trash, okay? So for example, this is plastic. It is a little fruit bucket that I bought at Publix, I think. So it had fruit in it, and it is made of plastic. So if we don't recycle, we would just throw this away, right? I ate my fruit and I put it in the trash can. Well, all of that trash goes to a landfill. So the trash man comes, picks up your trash, and then drives it out to a landfill. And at the landfill, what they do is they take the trash and they bury it deep in the earth, okay? So there are a couple of problems with this, right? There's lots of people in the world, and so there's lots of trash. Just think about how much trash is in your own house. I know in my house, we take out the trash at least once a week. So we have a big container of trash that ends up in the landfill, okay? And so if everyone's house has trash, that's a lot of trash, right? So if we recycle, we will be taking this piece of plastic and putting it in the recycling bin. So some people, they don't have recycling in their neighborhood. I don't have recycling in my neighborhood, but I put it in a bucket, and then at the end of the week, I take my bucket of plastic that I've saved, like these. If I have any other plastic, I have a milk jug that I use. I take all these plastics and I drive them to the recycling center in my town, okay? And then what they do once they get all these plastics is they take them and they melt them down and create new plastics, okay? So they'll make them really hot, melt them down, mix them up, and then they can create something new with it, like a new milk jug with it, all right? So we'll take all these plastics, melt them down, mix them up, and create something new, okay? So that is what recycling is, and they do it with paper too. So with cardboard and paper, you can recycle these, and they'll take it, add some water, blend it up, and it'll cause paper pulp, and then they can make something new with it. Maybe they can print a book from it or create new paper. So that is what recycling is. So another part of recycling is reusing, and that's what we're doing today. So we're using materials that have already had one use. So by reusing our fruit tray and reusing our paper towel rolls, we are creating a work of art without creating any more trash. So we're not using paper or brand new plastic. We're just using what we already have to create something cool, okay? So let's get started, all right? So I want you to take a look at your materials that you have in front of you. I know yours might not be this. Maybe you have a milk jug, or maybe you have some extra paper. Maybe you have some paper towel rolls or an old soda can. Coca-Cola. I love Coca-Cola. I drink it way too much. So maybe you have one of those. Here we go. A Coca-Cola bottle. So maybe you have a plastic Coca-Cola bottle. And let's see what we can create with it. So I think I'm going to start. I'm going to take my paper towel roll and cut it down the middle here. Okay, so you might need some help from your parents. I'm just going to bend it and then cut it across. What's another way we could cut these? Does anyone know? Yeah, you could also cut it down the middle if you wanted to. And unroll it and create something with that, right? And I'm going to take my other one and cut it like this one again. I think I'm going to try to create maybe some sort of little animal with it. All right. So now I have a couple of these. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 4 little cardboard pieces, and I think those will be really good for little feet, for a little animal sculpture, right? Let's see what else I have. I've got my 4 feet. What about our plastic container? Let's see. Maybe if we flip it upside down, maybe we can add our little feet. What about, maybe we can add bottle caps to it. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna collect some of my bottle caps. I have a couple. I have some green and some blue ones. And I'm going to tape or glue them onto my old fruit plastic. Oh, so I know lots of y'all don't have glue at home, but I think you can tape it. Let's see what works. I'm going to take a little piece of tape, and then I'm going to fold it over on itself so it becomes a little sticky. And let's see. I'm going to put it on the top of my bottle cap and then stick it to my plastic. All right, that looks pretty good actually. So I'm going to do that again. Take my tape, roll it over. This time I'm going to choose a blue one, put it on the edge. Now I have a green and a blue. That kind of looks like eyeballs, doesn't it? But I'm going to keep going because I want to make it not eyeballs, but more like dots on it. So I'm going to choose green again. Put the tape on and put it right there. So I have a green, a blue, a green. What color do you think will come next? Yeah, a blue. Good job. So what we're doing here with our green, blue is creating a pattern. So a pattern is when you repeat shapes or colors. Green, blue, green, blue. What comes next? Green, good job. I think this type of art is really fun. Just because it's cool to use things that's already in your house, and you get to do a little more than just using paper. Okay, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue. That's right, good job. We're adding all sorts of bottle caps. I think we'll fit 3 or 4 more, and we can count them all up. So green comes next. Stick it on the edge here. Ooh, actually, we only need 1 more. That took up a lot of space. Get my tape and add my last blue. All right, should we count them up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good job. 8 bottle caps. So now we have this kind of wonky bowl with some bottle caps on it. It kind of looks like a hat. That could be a hat, I guess, if you wanted to leave it as a hat. But let's see, maybe I will attach some of my, I could put these on the top here. Maybe I could add them to the bottom, create little legs. Interesting. Maybe that could go on top. Let's see, I am going to tape my little feet, my paper towel rolls onto the bottom. Let's see what would be the best way to tape these so they don't fall. Yeah, I just kind of, it's a little hard to see. You'll just have to try it. I just put a piece of tape on the inside and taped it to the plastic there. Let's see if I can do that with my other ones. I'm gonna add the piece of tape to the inside and then press it down onto the plastic. So the kind of interesting part about doing projects like this is sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's a lot of trial and error, which means you try something, if it works, great, but if it doesn't, that means you have to start over and see what else could work instead. So if I tape all these little pieces of cardboard on and then it doesn't really stay, I'll have to try something else. Maybe glue or maybe not even the cardboard. So, oh, it worked. Yeah, it kind of works. It falls over easily, but it stands up a little bit. So you can see the little feet here, and then my bottle cap's on the plastic piece. All right, what else can we add? I have a yogurt cup here. Maybe we could put on top. This is white, so we could probably color that section too. I have a marker. Let's see. Oh, that works really well. So if you have cardboard, cardboard is good to draw on as well if you want to add something fun, stripes or stars, or even a picture to your sculpture. Let's see if what I can add to my white cup here. I think I'll just do some of our lines, okay? So I'll do a zigzag. Ooh, that was kind of hard to do since the cup is curved. A wavy. Thick line. What about some dots? Some dots. Sometimes it's hard to draw on plastic. It doesn't really stay too well. Got some polka dots. If you had a Sharpie, it might stay, but sometimes Sharpies are hard to come by. Okay, so I have it decorated with some marker. And I am going to, let's see, should I put it this way or this way? I think I'm gonna put it this way. Wait. Yeah, I like it this way, upside down. Okay, upside down. I'm going to add a little piece of tape along the edge here. Just gonna push down lightly. Uh-oh. My sculpture is collapsing. Ah! Ah! I told you guys the feet might give me trouble. Let's see, what if I push him out like that? I know, it's like he's dancing. Dancing sculpture. Okay. I think he's gonna stay for a minute. Let's see what else I can do. I have this newspaper here. So I don't know if this little guy is an animal or if he's just kind of a wonky monster. Maybe I will give him some little, some hair or some sort of squiggly arms or something. So I'm gonna take my newspaper. You could use normal paper if you have it at home. And you can rip it or cut it. I'm gonna just cut a couple pieces. And I'm just cutting long strips like a rectangle. So let's see, I just cut it down, straight down the newspaper. And now I have a really long piece, okay? Could be some nice hair for you. Let's see. I'll cut another piece. And then I'll rip a couple too so you see how it goes. So I'm just gonna pull it there. And I just ripped that straight down, so I got a wavy strip. That is actually pretty cool. I kind of like that one even better than the one I cut. Be a necklace. Very cool. Okie dokie. All right, so I have a couple of strips of newspaper now, and the one I tore out. So let's see, we could glue it on the top here to make kind of silly hair, or we could glue it on the bottom, make a little octopus, or twist it all the way around, kind of like clothes or some sort of mummy. Let's see, I'm gonna glue it on top. Not glue, I'm gonna tape it on top. So it has sort of a flowy top. And then, let's see if I can finish this up quickly. Maybe we'll have time to make one more too. Maybe something small. Okay, so I just taped on my newspaper. So I'm not sure what this is, but it's a cool sculpture. We have some newspaper, our bottle caps, our yogurt cups, some little wonky legs. Maybe he's a alien spaceship or some sort of like helicopter that comes down. I like him though. He's kind of cool. Or she. Beep beep. Very nice. Okay, so we have just a couple minutes. Let's see if we can make something else. I'm gonna put my robot over here. He'll be out of the way. Let's see. Oh, I have a milk jug. Let's see, what can we do with a milk jug? Maybe we could tape those together. A milk jug and a Coke bottle. Let's see. Let's see here. Tape that together. I don't know if that will stay. And then, we really have to use our thinking caps today, don't we? Let's see. I have a long one. Maybe we can glue. Ah! Trial and error. Tape does not work that well. Maybe we can tie it with a piece of newspaper. Or some string or something. Let's see. Maybe we can add some newspaper to this guy. Maybe it'll be like, if it's like a person, this will be like giving him a tie or a scarf. That didn't work too well, did it? Okay. Maybe this is not a good one. Okay, switching it up. We can take newspaper, tie it through the handle of our milk jug. I don't know how well y'all are at tying things. To create a little bow on him. see a little better. Or take some cardboard. I'm gonna cut it in half again. I know a lot of y'all don't have paint at home, but if you did have paint, sometimes it's fun to paint milk jugs. So what I'm doing to the bottom of my paper towel roll is I cut a couple of slits in the bottom. Oh, I went really fast, sorry. I cut a couple of little slits in the bottom. So then what I can do is I can fold them out like this. Push them down on my table. So it creates like a cool little flower shape. And that can help you tape it down. Or so that can help you tape it down like that. Or the little flower shape, I'll show you on this one. So I'm just cutting with my scissors up the edge, and I'll do it on both sides. Then folding down. Or, see here? This can just be your own little sculpture, right? Maybe you want to put your bottle caps on the edges of it. That could be a really easy sculpture. Just cut the bottoms of your toilet paper roll, flatten them out, and then add a couple bottle caps to it, or you can color it. Cardboard is really easy to color. So you can do something crazy and weird. This is crazy and weird too, but it's a little easier for people at home. All right, just do your best. You can try anything you want. Maybe you can ask your parents so they can help you with scissors for the big things, okay? I hope you guys have fun, and I hope you create something crazy. I would love to see pictures of it, so feel free to email me or your teachers pictures of your work. Before I let y'all go, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Kenneth and Braden from Miss White's class. Y'all did awesome on your story quilts this past week. I'm so proud of you guys. And there are a picture of it posted on my teacher website if anyone wants to check it out. I hope you'll have a great week, and I'll see you next time.